Greetings and welcome back, everyone. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and this is Into the Nexus. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Kyle Ferguson.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here. How are you doing, Garrett?
I'm doing okay. I had one of those evenings where I totally forgot to thaw meat, so it was like, oh, damn, I guess I have to go get takeout from Popeye's Chicken. I guess I have to, because you just have to do it.
You know, video games are so much more exciting than real life can be at times.
You're damn right, although I will have to tell you, I was so excited that I had an excuse to get bad food.
Sure. Well, who wouldn't be? Though, man, unthawed meat, was it beef?
It was chicken.
Oh, God. Because chicken, I always jump the gun. I always think, okay, well, maybe if I get in there, like really just invest myself in this frozen chicken, it'll de-thaw while I'm working. And no, you take the plastic off, and then you realize that you can't run it underwater anymore. And then you're worried if you make the water too hot, will it start cooking in there? And will the gases from styrofoam erode into my chicken breast?
A little bit. You're not sure. That's why I take everything out and just throw it on a plate. I don't like microwaving anything with plastic or styrofoam. And this is officially the worst opening to a Heroes of the Storm show we have ever had. So, moving onwards and upwards, how has your Heroes of the Storm week been, sir?
It was good. I mean, this is our first full week with the new patch. So things are getting ironed out. We talked a lot about last week, helping new players get into the game and a bit about how things are looking. And pretty much all those statements have continued to be true. There are correct picks throughout the draft at the moment. I personally have been playing so much Tychus. One, because, I got my master skin, so clearly I enjoy him. I play him a heck of a lot. But I also feel like I have to pick him right now, so the other team doesn't have him. So I'm stuck in this weird Tychus limbo.
They're hate picks. You don't want to... It's like I've been seriously considering teaching myself Stitches, because I hate playing against Stitches.
Oh, sure. Well, that kind of pops in the back of my head, but that's left to, better people than I. I've got skills in other departments, and people who love the heck out of him, they can go ahead and invest themselves in that hook, because I don't want to be that guy.
That's it's a good point. There's a lot of weight placed on the shoulder of Stitches, which may be why all the Stitches I've been playing with this week in pickup games are the biggest jerks. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
sure. Yeah,
I guarantee you, if I actually took like stats of all of this, that it'd be like if I made a mark of when people were jerks and what hero they were playing, that it would be 75+% Stitches.
And you could see why someone who considers themselves a skilled Stitches would be like that. It's one of the few heroes right now that has such a global change on how the game is played. Supposedly, against skilled players who are going to choose to stand behind creeps, use their abilities like Nova's decoy to drop it behind them as they run so that hook doesn't get them. There's a lot you have to keep an account for constantly in your mind, and he could always just be waiting behind the bush. That being said, Stitches all by himself with no team to back him up really does nothing but displace heroes. So it's a very frustrating situation to be in, I'm sure. Which is why both you and I have kind of gravitated towards damage, because if we get a good engagement and you have a hold of someone, like, let's go ahead and finish this, I can grab things all day as Diablo and no one's there to assist me. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I'll give you that, man. But speaking of Diablo, I did have the first ranked game where someone picked Diablo this week. I don't think I've seen him at all since. And I was all benefit of the doubt mode. I'm like, I don't believe all the hate. I'm sure Diablo's a fine hero. This guy's probably going to rock it. And we just got rolled over so hard.
Yeah. It's rough. We're all looking forward to that. I know Blizzard is working on it currently. I am just stoked to hell because I'm level 9, getting to 10. I want, of all the skins right now, it's his master skin. It increases his damn size and makes him look like Megatron on the green mode. And I love it.
Yeah, I like his master skin quite a bit as well.
The other thing that's happening right now is Lily power, which is surprising.
Yeah, Lily is, and this is coming from me, folks, so it's true. Lily is really really super powerful right now.
Like tearing it up, damage-wise.
There's a damage Lily build. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Have you gone deeper into it? All I know is I've just been getting wrecked by Lilies. I have yet to try it out or really dig deep into this. I've only noticed it the last couple of days.
And when would we have gotten a chance? She's picked nearly every game right now.
Yeah.
And again, leave it to people better than I. What I'm hearing really is that it's Kung Fu Hustle at level 20, giving you 3 times the recharge while Fast Feed is active. So basically, you're running in, throwing your winds up, getting out wicked fast, and by the way, on top of your movement speed, you now have all your abilities cooled down.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's gross.
Yeah.
That's really gross.
Looks like ability power stacking as you use. Yeah, it's just it's a nice little snowball mechanic. I think it's cool to see her a lot. I like having her on my team, and it doesn't change things like Stitches does. So I welcome the addition.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like. It's nice seeing more than 2 healers picked, because before it was Uther, Brightwing every game.
Yeah.
Whoever didn't get Uther played Brightwing. So I'm fine with that. All the teasing and the running gag we have on the show about our dislike of Lily, it doesn't matter. She's perfectly fine right now. Really great pick.
Sure, still looks like Yoda, creepy as hell, but
I've more like a disturbed, half-baked ET, but okay. Like a hairy ET. Put that in your bank of nightmares and store it.
This is why pandas aren't having enough cubs. They're just too horrifying.
They just take one look at him and just kill him. Just like, you are too ugly to live.
Sneezing, it was screaming.
Kill me. Delightful. That is just great. How's ranked mode going for you?
I'm up to rank 27 at the moment, which is I'm getting there at 33 wins and 30 losses. So it's progressing. And clearly I have an above 50% win rate, I guess, but not much above it. So it's rather generous in terms of rank.
Okay, well that's good. I'm still. I finally I clawed myself into a 50-50, like a 50% win loss ratio. Finally, when this first launched, you remember we went both, I think, on a pretty bad losing streak together.
Yeah,
with some other friends, and I blame those other friends because they're not
Sure.
here to defend themselves. But
Good. But later in the show, MOBA etiquette, how not to blame your friend.
But yeah, I went on a nice win streak this past week, and now I'm evened out on wins and losses. I may even be 1 win up now.
Nice.
I forgot to check. I won a couple games this afternoon and then lost 1. I forgot to check my final numbers, but we'll have to see. We'll see. So, anyways, shall we get into this week's news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Stay a while and listen.
So this week we actually got some hot fixes to Heroes. We thought they were kind of finished with the big patch that happened last Tuesday, but they weren't, because apparently there were issues. Spirian posted on the official forums this week that a couple changes had happened. One of the first of which being that Tychus will no longer perform any basic attacks while using his overkill ability.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that was an issue, and I'm glad it has been taken care of.
There was some slightly stacking damage going on while you were shifting alongside people, praying your way to victory. And those happen to be auto attacks happening in the background on your primary target.
That is just terrifying.
It's noticeable. You're removing a good 3 auto attacks over the course of that. So 260 damage over the course of a overkill. It was a bit of a game changer. So I'm sad it's picked. I'm not sad it's picked. Mixed feelings being a Tychus player.
Fair enough. I'm glad it's gone. It wasn't intentional, so it shouldn't be there.
For balance sake.
They also fixed an issue that could cause grave golems to deviate from their intended attack path. So this is not something I personally noticed.
No, I didn't see any grave golems valiantly head off to the creeps.
Yeah, I'm glad.
We need to get these mid-mercs, guys.
That'd be great. Like pings start happening on your mini-map, and you look down, and it's like Grave Golem wants to defend. It's just like,
no, that's.
I mean,
no
honestly,
one goes for that watchtower. Stop defending it, Grave Golem. Starts taking all the camps at the wrong time. It was a real bother.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, Grave Golem. You've really good leadership skills.
You cleaned it yourself up,
Yeah. And then this last one is actually kind of a big one. I feel like the Tychus change is probably the biggest, and I'm very glad it's gone. But players will no longer permanently lose control of Abathur if he is killed immediately after the Ultimate Evolution heroic ability expires. Again, a thing I didn't know was an issue, and that seems like a big, major issue.
Yeah, good to have these fixed. These were, in fact, implemented during our show last week. So I was looking towards the end what Tychus changes people were talking about, and this was that. Oh, and by the way, a quick fix to last week's show. There is smoke that you can hide in addition to bushes.
Oh yeah, we got like 4 tweets, 2 emails, and a YouTube comment all telling us that Blackheart's Bay does indeed have smoke. You are all absolutely correct. We're dumb.
Right, but
we're dumb.
When you think the bay and boardwalks, you don't think smoke. Maybe there's like a fry cook working under there or something.
I was about to say, I don't know about you, man, but I think smoke. You got the hot dog carts and.
Soon the shops are going to open up, and while you're turning in coins, you have to dodge seagulls trying to steal your hot dog.
That'd be amazing. I would play the crap out of a battleground like that. As long as we get our StarCraft themed one first. That for me, I think that's why I forgot about smoke, because I was like, I think I'm just thinking of StarCraft because they have smoke.
Yeah.
But no, it totally turns out there is indeed fog chutes that you can hide in this game. So
of course, and the StarCraft map will be both teams on opposing sides have to destroy the rocks to get to each other.
Oh, that would be the map that is in the shape of Dustin Browder's head. Also this week, the Heroes developer John Hodgson, who we've highlighted his blog post in the past year. Well, he's got a new one, and it's all about imbalances are cool.
Oh man, I cringed when I saw this title.
I would like to know when Blizzard themselves got into the business of making clickbait about their own games. That's what I would like to know.
Imbalances you didn't know about that are cool.
Yeah, it's just like, John Hodgson, what are you doing? And then you start reading it, and it's like, I see what you did there. You're just replacing the word imbalance for asymmetrical design. But all right, I'll take it. It was a really super interesting blog post. I love hearing about the development of the game. I highly recommend folks go over to battle.net/heroes and read the thing in full. But we do have some highlights here for you. Opening up, John Hodgson said that when he says the word imbalance, he says, quote, "I'm talking about the differences between players and the elements they control in the game, which make the game fun. For Heroes of the Storm, that means the heroes themselves. I don't mean when a particular game element is over or underpowered in general." And that's kind of the theme of this whole thing. He goes in to talk about all of the differences between each hero in Heroes of the Storm and talks about asymmetrical design, which is something, you and I have been talking about for a long time, thanks to the StarCraft show, because it's very prevalent in the game of StarCraft, because you have 3 races, Protoss, Zerg, Terran, which are all very unique and very different from one another, yet it is an insanely well-balanced game.
Right. Well, it's what makes the game stand out among things like, Command and Conquer, where really, other than color and a couple of special units, you're not really changing how things are based.
Yeah, exactly. He went on to talk about, how this all works out, what the game plan is. And he says, quote, "Because heroes have a finite set of abilities that do specific things and must make trade-offs depending on their role, we are able to make them more powerful in the role that they specialize in." And then he went on to give a good example of Nova, which she's intentionally designed to be super low health, no escape mechanisms or anything like that, and you can't even talent in a way that fills in those gaps. But as you know, she hits like a truck.
Yes, but an interesting hero to pick after the previous nerf, followed by a surprising nerf in this previous patch. This had a lot of people upset just using it as an example. Either way, this blog post was a minefield for nerds to walk upon.
Yeah, I think it was a perfectly good example. I mean, and if you look at any of the heroes, it makes sense. Obviously, that's where like some of the heroes that we're not quite sure why they're classified the way they are starts to raise a red flag for me when I think about Hodgson's comments here, because you look at Tassadar, who we mentioned I think on the last show, we don't really think should be a support, seems more like a specialist. You have Tyrande, whose heal is so minuscule, she doesn't really feel like a support either. She actually is way better on the damage end if you spec her correctly.
Right, I wonder if Tyrande is more floating in this weird in-between because she has a stun. And stuns right now in the game are rather coveted and infrequent.
Right. And I find Tyrande really unique, because she also you can get True Shot Aura, which is a party-wide buff. So granted, the range on it is tiny, but it's something that helps the whole team. And I'm assuming that's another one of the reasons why they consider her a support. She's just such a when you think about traditionally what the word support means, she doesn't really fit the bill.
Almost certainly. Sonya's one that's sitting in the warrior tree that we're all kind of going, maybe?
Yeah.
And it's
that's
cool
a good
to
point,
get that.
because she seems like she really seems like an assassin that's just really good at staying alive.
Right.
Because of
So a
life
certain
steal.
amount of sustain that is withholding some damage that possibly she should have in another light. I wouldn't be surprised if, by the end of things, we have a lot of different... I mean, we talked about the Korean meta for a bit, 2 episodes ago? And we were talking about like sub dealers and all these sorts of things. People will insert their own lingo that I think is ultimately going to work better than what Blizzard has given us to work with. But it's cool to see that behind everything, they're making sure that assassins don't gain those extra skills for escape, maybe survivability, but otherwise they're kind of limited, and that's neat.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, folks should go check this out. It was a really interesting read, and without getting too much deeper into it, he makes some amazing analogies to chess that I thoroughly enjoyed, but I won't go deep into it here.
It's MOBAs, man. It's a bizarre world that has evolved out of custom games and pet projects, and now is this beautiful, esport in so many different games, but it is just balancing on a needle's head.
Yeah, that is very true.
Like, you can't do anything with it except for constantly iterating and supporting the product.
Right. So moving on, our next topic is recently on the Heroes subreddit, user Flintlock Freedom collected week 6 through 9 stats from the Kings of the Storm Weekly Heroes tournament, and we love looking at this kind of stuff here because it shows us because they have a pick and a ban phase. This is obviously we have a pick phase in the game already via the drafting system in ranked play, and you can do it in custom games. But obviously, hero bans is something that's very popular in basically every other MOBA that's played as an esport right now, and Kings of the Storm is implementing their own ban system. So Team 1 bans a hero, Team 2 bans a hero, then Teams 1 and 2 pick the heroes they want to play in the 1-2-2-2-2-1 pattern that we already have in the regular draft system.
And this has that extra level of fascinating on top of it because your pro players, the teams that are getting ready for this game's full release, are making strategies based around picks and bans. So like Tychus right now is basically either picked or banned in every single game. So the top tier teams are basically saying, okay, well, let's not make any strategies relying on Tychus. We can't control that factor. Whereas here, Kings of the Storm, it's less advanced teams getting together, but they're taking it seriously and battling. And we get to see kind of what public opinion is and not so much what top strategy is.
Yeah. Vala's at 100% pick or banned.
Makes sense.
Every single
Why
game.
not? Someone
Someone either tries to play her or remove her from the fight entirely, which is interesting. Now, I like if you go listen to Angry Chicken and the show about Hearthstone, I hate bans over there because I don't think they need to be there for card games. It drives me up a wall. But I do like bans in MOBAs. I like them in these type of games.
Sure.
So that being said, I totally get why we don't have bans at the moment. There's just not enough heroes. It would make all those weird limitations into getting in the Hero League even weirder and more strict than they already
we'd have
are.
to have 11 heroes, and then I already feel like when someone takes one assassin I'm good at, I go, I've got 2 others that are, I don't want to show off these guys in public.
Yep. So looking at just like the bans here, the top banned hero was Stitches, who was banned a total of 28 times between weeks 6 and 9. Underneath him is Tychus, which at half that at 14.
Right, and it makes sense. I believe that Stitches getting banned would relax a lot of players and make things, basically establish this is not going to be part of the game, back and forth. Let's just have a fair fight, perhaps.
You're not going to get pulled into a bush with 5 enemies and die.
Well, and besides that, his damage is huge right now. The slam build that most people are doing is competing well late into, the game, maybe 17 when Heroes, is it 16? When they finally get that last talent, that's usually a big damage boost for him. They can overtake him, but otherwise all game stitches.
Yeah. Zeratol's number 3 on most banned, which I found a little surprising just from my personal experience on ranked. I don't see a lot of Zeratol.
He's a gamble. I think it's more of a respect play here because if someone were to pick Zeratul in your King of the Storm game, they are confident enough to have the skills.
I'll give you that. Okay. I can agree with that.
Because, yeah, you and I, we see so-so Zeratul's, and every once in a while that one is just incredible.
Getting a little bit off of the stats here, but I'm noticing she's number 5 most banned. I've seen a ton of Kerrigan this week. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know when people just decided, hey, Kerrigan's good again. But I seriously probably haven't seen a Kerrigan played in the last 2 to 3 weeks in my pickup games. And I've seen her in almost every single game since we last recorded.
The fact that Kerrigan became cool this past week caused me to go play the hero or the Heart of the Swarm campaign in StarCraft.
Oh, really?
Because I'm currently saving my gold for Nazebo. But I really want to play Kerrigan, run around, so I did.
I played her a lot really early alpha. I've been debating getting kind of back in and playing her.
Well, sure. And then, we were seeing all the pro players in our late night games picker. She was a huge deal. And it's nice to see her back. I currently have not seen any Kerrigans that I feel like are carrying the game for their team. But really, in draft and in established team games, on Skype and all that, people are basically balling up.
Yeah. Strifage in the chat room says that the Ultralist retarget change probably helped a lot. He also mentioned that she's free this week, but I'm talking ranks, so free doesn't matter.
Sure, the Ultralist I've been seeing a lot. And in fact, more than I've seen the Psystorm.
I Maw of the Voided a Kerrigan and her Ultralist today. It made me so happy. I was like,
oh, Maelstrom, by the way.
Oh, good. What was that?
Oh, I said Psystorm. It's Maelstrom.
Maelstrom. Oh, yeah. I may have made the same flub as you in games past. So.
I mean, it was the same in Brood War. We can always say that.
Yes.
I'm just too pro for, I'm just referencing Brood War.
That is very true.
It's the StarCraft get you off the hook button.
You wanted to mention this gold calculator, what widget tool? What would you call this thing?
A homemade website device. It basically at the top is going to show you all the heroes and their gold costs. And if you then click them, you can tell how many games you would have to play daily and what your win percentage would have to be in order to buy them at any sort of rate. Currently at 10 games a day, it would take me... Oh, it's really just kind of a depression simulator, so look at it at your own risk.
Gotcha. It's not an easy link, or I would mention it audio, but we'll have it in the show notes over at amove.tv/ITN for episode 36. If you go to
starting from scratch with dailies at 350 gold, it would take me 60 hours of gameplay calculated to 16 days.
Wow. All right, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's a bit tough, man. Get those stim packs. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So, let's talk some strategy, shall we?
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
Well, last week we were going to discuss Sky Temple because senior technical designer Meng Song, who I'm probably butchering his name, I apologize, put out a developer insight, but the patch dropped and we really wanted to do a newbie and a draft mode discussion for our strategy segment. So we're going to talk about Sky Temple today. So let's do that, shall we, Kyle?
Well, is the chat room getting you distracted, Garrett?
A little bit.
Yes, let's discuss Sky Temple and its giant scarf-wearing dog.
Giant scarf-wearing dog?
Yeah, in the opening picture, man. He's got a nice scarf on.
Oh, okay. Well, without context, no one's going to get what you're talking about. So, well played, sir. Well played.
Then let us proceed swiftly to the map discussion.
Yes, let's do that. So in the dev insight that was posted on the official Heroes site, there were some interesting kind of, I don't know, curtains pulled back. They gave us a look into the design of the battleground. Meng Sung said that there are a few rules to the temple activations to adhere to. So on Sky Temple, we have 3 temples, one at the top, one at the mid, and one at the bottom. We kind of talked about it on patch week. You have to stand in the circle underneath the temple to activate it. It'll turn, blue if you capture it, or red if the enemy captures it. And it activates these guardians, and it's a little kind of player versus environment mini boss fight. You got to kill these things. And it's great. It's kind of interesting because while you're fighting off these guardians, you have the enemy team probably coming in and trying to ruin your day. So,
right, and the other cool thing about it, unlike normal merc camps here, it's definitely a combination of the two. But whoever controls the temple is the one being attacked by the minions. So if you come in late and they're taking that damage, you kind of have the advantage.
Yeah, it does. It definitely helps. And so it's important to kind of understand how the temples work and when they activate. And I was really interested to see here that they said there are random elements to keeping the rotation of the temples. They said, quote, spontaneous and fun. However, the first activation of the game is always the same. It features the 2 temples located at the top and the middle of the battleground. It will always be top and middle for the first temple activation. So keep that in mind when you're going in the Sky Temple, especially if you're in the bottom lane. When it comes about time for those temples to activate, make sure you're ready to go. You're ready to go help mid, or you're ready to run top.
Which is really interesting with the shape of the map. It definitely has a bigger top to it, and the bottom lane is really down there. Even the middle one is focused towards the top above the lane. So I'm surprised they didn't activate the middle one first, but I guess because they don't want teams completely murdering each other like some of our previous maps, they've given this, it's taken, let's go take the other one, so we kind of stay neutral at, the 4-minute mark.
Yeah. And I mean, you even mentioned, I think it was the last episode or the episode before it, how narrow some of these lanes get, especially that bottom one. It can get real jammed up real quickly.
It definitely has the least amount of entrances to it, and no real sides to skirt around. It's just 2 front doors, and that's all you get to get in and out of there. When I play this map on a support, I've been loving taking the drone so you can see over the grass.
Oh, I never thought about that. That is really cool. Yeah, because that bottom one, that grass is so important.
Right. It's a first pick for a lot of heroes. I've been doing a lot of Malfurion, just because that's the extra healer I have that's not Tassadar or Brightwing. So I'm often getting stuck on him, but you're missing out on the mana regen there. So on this map, it seems worth it.
Yeah. Now, taking a look at the map, if you were kind of reading, I don't know, the official forums or the Heroes subreddit, a lot of folks are a little bit down on Sky Temple because they feel it's too snowbally. What has your experience been with it?
That's an interesting statement because they're all snowbally for the reason of ending the game. I mean, granted, you hold on to one of these things for its entire duration, it's going to destroy a lot. And late game, there is no... like in Blackhearts, I've been feeling like a lot recently, it's been coming down to final buildings. And as long as we have like a fort with a smidgen of health on it and a full core, we can withstand that final barrage. Whereas this thing, individual blasts tear through things and you don't waste those extra shots in midair on something that has low health.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that.
So it's an extremely effective tool to destroy buildings. The middle lane is just so tiny that I feel like of the 3 lanes, I mean, maybe we just need to, if it was not going to be snowbally, it would just be have to be a different shape. There's just too many chances to get map control with the way all the different mercs are laid out. And the one sight tower right there in the middle that overlooks the middle. And
this is the one map that I really think the sight tower is super important on.
Well, yeah, because it gives you control over that, and there's just surrounded by bushes. I mean, granted, you have the one in Blackheart's Bay, but you're basically taking that and putting it down by the coin turn-in, where that maze of boxes is.
Right. It's not so interesting. It's not so important on Blackheart's Bay. Granted, okay, you might get tipped off to the opposing team going up and trying to fight the golem on Blackheart's Bay, but that's not the most important thing on the map. It's nowhere near the coin turn-in. Which is where everything goes down on Blackheart's Bay. Whereas on Sky Temple, it's top location in between the top and middle temples is it's I don't know, it's really, like you said, it's surrounded by bushes, so it's a gank haven, and it's super helpful to be able to see that area, especially if one of those 2 temples are currently activating.
And when you think about the recent change that made catapults really good, like over the last week, I feel like, the both of us have kind of been noticing how important it is to get that fort inside their base so you can have map control, because a catapult is just going to carry you. So on a map like this, where the other 2 lanes are so spread out and the middle lane is so tiny, the towers prioritize the middle, and the middle will always be the most active tower in the first place. So, with doubles turning on and it turning on, I don't think it ever turns on just by itself. That middle lane's always going to be fully pushed out.
Yeah, absolutely. The bottom one is, I feel like, I don't know, the most aware players need to take care of the bottom lane, because that's where, especially at the beginning of the game, like I said, the stuff tends to get a little crazy. So it's like if you have a Falstad or a Brightwing, I really prefer them going bottom, because then they can port to mid or fly to mid to help. And if it's a pickup game, I've seen cases where way too many people have gone to mid and top really needed it. And if you're not one of those 2, it takes forever to get the top to help.
That's one of the really weird things about it right now. I feel like we just don't have enough experience on it to judge our decision making as to where we need to be when there's the 2 open. Because oftentimes you'll spend the whole time fighting over the middle, and then there's like a Stitch's top just kind of sitting on it. He's not really killing the Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but you don't have to kill them to get those final blasts. As long as you can survive the full duration of the dudes waking up, you're going to take advantage of the full tower, and they just crumble to dust.
Yeah, no, you're right. Back to the dev insight that they put up. They gave some suggestions for heroes that they feel kind of excel on Sky Temple, which I thought was interesting, getting it kind of from the horse's mouth, so to speak. They said that they prefer heroes that can deal with mercenary camps and guardians. They said that they can really excel on the map. Battleground. What was his name again? I'm already forgetting. Meng Song said that he really liked Zagara and Gazlo for their ability to kind of deal with the PvE elements of Sky Temple.
That's interesting. They're more zone control than actually being able to tear through the guardians quickly. All you need is a hero. It's a lot like when that one Jaina goes off and takes a camp of mercenaries by herself. Probably should be doing something else, but damn, she gets it done fast. So no one really cares.
Well, Gazlo, I think, does plenty well getting rid of mercenaries, and the fact that he's also just good at killing the guardians is icing on the cake.
Oh, yeah, well, and people have to invade you, and if Gazlo has any sort of setup time, that's something he definitely has over Zagara. Zagara can lay into you real quick and drop some stuff to kind of zone you out, but Gazlo has to have that time investment first.
Yeah. Have we, and getting a little off topic, but have we talked about the boss, the Golem replacement on Sky Temple yet?
I think we did briefly when we got excited about it from BlizzCon.
Okay, because that thing does some serious work.
Yeah, it's cool.
It still has the same ground smash thing that regular, grave golems have, but instead of like the root vines that pulsate a bunch of damage that lock a ranged character in place, or a melee character who ran through it, don't do that. It has tornadoes, and they actually physically move you. They displace you as they're moving along. If you get hit by this thing, it just kind of pushes you around. And I find it, I don't know, I think it's something about that just makes it harder to deal with this damn thing, especially if it actually gets to your wall and you're trying to stay on this thing and attack it, and tornadoes are pushing you away from it.
Excuse me. Right, it's a very open area. Like Blackheart's Bay, it's the only one on there. So it definitely is hotly contested. And Blackheart's Bay is even kind of, hidden up in the corner. There's a watchtower to make sure people are going for it. Granted, if the whole enemy team disappears, you know where they are. They're taking on this guy. Yeah. And I have yet to have a situation where the tornado really does something crazy, like knocks someone into the slam and messes people up that way, just because there's so much stuff in the area to get hung up on, like these random blocks and buildings, that it doesn't get too hotly contested.
Yeah. Back to Meng Song's suggestions of heroes to play on here. He also mentioned on the tight corridors thing that he really likes Nazebo's Ravenous Spirit or Nova's Precision Strike for kind of taking advantage of how clumped up people can get.
Or just in general.
To which I would say, well, maybe not Precision Strike as much, but Ravenous Spirit is just good all the time.
Yes.
There's never a reason not to use Ravenous Spirit.
I feel like I'm having a hard time seeing it. Granted, it's just so powerful, and I don't know what they're going to do with that, man. I'm hoping that it gets fixed by other heroes getting buffs.
Well, that's the thing is, do you think part of it is, again, getting off the topic of Sky Temple, but the limited hero pool? Because there are direct counters to Nazebo. It's like you see Nazebo, it's like, well, we need a stun, something that'll push or move him, or a polymorph. Any of those three things will knock him out of his Ravenous Spirit heroic ability.
Right, and in general, if you know nothing about composition, just make sure you have all the stuns on your side, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Noob's Guide to Drafting. Get all the stuns. Every stun you can get.
Yep.
Get Nuther, get a Muradin, get who else am I trying to think of? Tyrael's heroic ability that charges and stuns.
Sure. Yeah. There's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's more that we're not thinking.
Slows do not count.
Yeah. Hell, even things that remove players from fights, like Maw of the Void or Stitches actually gorging someone. Anything like that really helps kind of tilt the odds in your favor. So, but
They can't do more to make it more visible. I'm a little surprised that they made the changes to enemy colors be red and green, like the most colorblind colors on Earth.
Yeah, our buddy Ben, he's partially, I believe, colorblind to red. And he always mentions that. He's like, I can't see the crap on my minimap. This is driving me nuts.
Maybe that's why his spaceships have such sweet engines, because he's like, damn, there's not enough red in there. This thing's like launching.
Nobody except people intimately close with knowledge of Ben would get what that joke is, but delightful.
Everyone knows a colorblind guy or lady.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts on Sky Temple, Kyle? I mean, overall, I'm still really enjoying the map. I know I've seen a lot of the criticisms about it being too snowball-y, but I don't know. I just don't. I've had some really close games. I've been thoroughly enjoying it.
And we said it before, it's a great-looking map. I can't wait to see properties we love given this amount of detail and expanded upon. Currently, there's the various towers that all have snakes. The catapults have snakes. They all shoot water, which seems a little wasteful in the desert, but there are these rivers running along the outside, so I guess it's okay. And if you zoom in on any of the snake flag poles, you'll notice that they don't have teeth. So it looks like they're just smiling real enthusiastically.
I'm glad that your final thoughts were not strategic in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's what people come here for, right?
The design of this map, from an aesthetic perspective, is gorgeous. They did a bang-up job on the art.
And the shrines themselves, or the temples, are a great application of some of the problems we've seen on other maps and then moving forward. And it got me thinking this past week, are we going to be laughing about Haunted Mines like we do Jungle Basin in a couple of years? And it's like, oh my, what was Blizzard thinking? We were all dumbasses.
Oh, that hit me. It took 4 seconds, and then it's just like, Jungle Basin. Oh my God. And then I will see your Jungle Basin serve and raise you steps of war.
Right? Is this where we're and then we'll have our Zelnaga caverns. We love it. And we just kind of hold it gently. Sky Temple. Oh, you're so cute.
Great. Totally awesome. Well, that'll wrap up. What?
Going off the Kings of the Storm, they had a ban phase for maps.
Oh, they did. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it looks like Dragonshire played 10 more times than any other map. So
it's because it is the best map.
It definitely feels like, the serious mode. It's the back of the Star Fox ship or the Lynx Castle.
Well, Final Destination is the serious mode, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you mean with the and then the
it's just it's a single plane. It's a single plane. That's serious mode. No one plays on Lynx Castle, sir. Nobody.
What? Well, that's because they added those dumb tornadoes in the later versions that made it, unpredictable. Pokemon Stadium was always a good place to throw down.
I liked Pokemon Stadium. It was fun. Not serious mode, but a fun one. fun one.
No.
So let's take some emails.
Darkness stopped calling.
I hear the wilds call. Wait, nature calls.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
If you want to email us about Heroes of the Storm or tell Kyle how wrong he is for his Super Smash Brothers opinions, you can email us at itncast@gmail.com. Our first email today comes to us from listener Mark, who writes, "One thing that I would like to add for your new players tips from last week's show. The thing I wanted to bring up is gamer slang that people will be seeing in chat. So here are a few that new players may not know. So here I go. MIA, missing in action. SS, missing. I didn't know that one. Good to know.
Yeah, that one's been bizarre and just evolving over time. I think I've seen MIA for the longest, and then you try to type the hero's name as fast as possible. But gotcha. SS is just just the general, like, real quick. Not saying who, just look at the map and figure
the math doesn't add up in this lane. He also said alt equals, well, in this game, heroic ability. You'll also hear us constantly refer to heroic abilities as alts on this show. Sure. B means back, or even in the case of this game, Hearthstone, it's also the shortcut for Hearthstone, so works out nice there. OOM, out of mana, one I use constantly when I'm playing Uther.
It's a big deal to let people know that you're backing up because you cannot contribute more.
Exactly. AA, auto attack. Can't say I've ever seen that used, nor would I know why you would use it.
Right, you're not auto attacking enough. Yeah, like maybe we need to yell that at all the Rainers.
CD equals cooldown. Good one to have. CS, creep score. Don't know what that is.
That sounds, yeah, I don't really know that one.
I'm not sure that has an application in this game.
I think that's an LOL thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing in this game. Mob, MOB equals monster. And soak equals get in a lane for XP.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that can be pretty darn confusing if you've never heard of it and you do a team fight, get the objective, and everyone goes, soak! Everyone's soaking.
Yeah. He said these are just a few that people that have just started playing the game ask him about. He said he also wanted to add a couple things that he thinks new players may not know about the game. The first of which he wanted to bring up is auto attack reset. He said there are abilities that will reset your auto attack, meaning as soon as you auto attack, you can use this ability to attack again. Examples being Arthas's passive D ability, Frostborn Hungers, and Thrall's E ability, Wind Fury. So again, to reiterate, you can hit once with a regular just plain auto attack, and then you can activate one of these and you'll immediately auto attack again. So you'll get 2 auto attacks in real quick. And if you're Thrall using Wind Fury, you'll actually get 4 in really fast. And it's ridiculous. He said another thing is that you cannot attack and use abilities at the same time. So to maximize your damage, you want to try to use your abilities in between your auto attacks. Thanks for the show.
That is a really cool email to break down some really basic stuff and then include some high-end play like this. Currently in the game, there is no last hit on creeps. So a lot of people coming over might be trying to do some stutter hitting, which doesn't work at all. It's not even programmed in the game. And in fact, they've made a couple of patches in the past to try to get rid of these auto-attacking reset abilities. These things always make me think of old shooter games where if you switch to grenades real fast while you're reloading, the gun reloaded faster.
Oh, you're right. I think that was a Halo thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a trick with the needler where it would just come back insta re-needled.
Right. So you just switch real fast and get it out there.
Yeah. You basically would cancel the reload animation.
So I'd be very surprised if these continue into the future, particularly because they're on Arthas and Thrall. That's his ability anyway. Granted, you don't want to send people running in and then have their attack seize up on them.
That's the thing.
Huge swing that never hits.
I think these 2 specific examples, I think that's by design because you're not getting feedback if you're hitting this and then nothing happens because you just happen to be on a global cooldown for your auto attack. So I don't see how you would design around it. I wouldn't want them to go the other route where it's just tied into your swing timer.
Sure, makes sense. Yeah, then it would start feeling pretty dirty.
Yeah, no, I'd like it as is. It's just something, as long as that's a given and it's a rule and you know about it, you can adjust your strategy accordingly.
Well said.
Our next email comes to us from Seth, or at WhiteFoxSG on Twitter. He writes, "Greeting, Nexus Heroes. First, did you know that Overwatch characters are already making appearances in Heroes? I didn't notice until now, so I was curious if it was new to the beta patch or if it was in the game previously. However, Tychus's 2 alternate color primary skins have Widowmaker and Tracer as the pinup girls on his left shoulder. Widowmaker is over a heart and Tracer is over a club. Thought you all would find this interesting. I've attached 2 screenshots of my discovery." Yes, we did see this, and it blew our minds.
Which I'm very happy to see them back. They removed Tychus's girls in a previous patch, and I was wondering, well, we're not that sensitive, Blizzard. We can handle it. We understand in the past, and Tychus is a bit of a pig in the first place, that there can be characters like this in video games.
The fact that, Tychuses are as tasteful as they are is impressive.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to know what he has on the inside of his locker.
Oh. I don't want to know. Look what it does when I flex.
Oh. That's why we don't let him out of the suit.
Jimmy, come look at this. Be great.
Speaking of Easter eggs, there's a really cool one on Sky Temple.
Did we not mention this?
No, we haven't yet.
Oh, well then I was completely wrong. Harrison Jones is on Sky Temple, everyone.
Yeah, we said that somewhere, and actually in the bottom lane, there's a little tomb hole with an eye on it. If you click it enough, he'll pop out, fly around on magic carpet.
It's totally like an Indiana Jones escape too, because he comes out and at the last second, like some spider legs come up and try to grab him, and he like jumps and lands on a magic carpet and flies away. And it's totally Harrison Jones because he's got the fedora and everything.
Well, they have said, based on the lore, that our next map is directly below this one.
Oh, so it was the Spider Queen.
Yeah, so
that's what it was, because it's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen will be the next
Exactly, that's actually the tube that's going down to whatever the map is.
Yeah. Anyway,
if you uppercut people hard enough, you end up on the wrong map.
Oh, you have a stage transition?
That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
No, it'd be horrible for gameplay. All the towers reset, everyone's still max level. Games take forever.
Well, then you want to get uppercutted, because then you could just, at level like 15, start soloing all these extra towers and getting XP for your team.
That's true. You could. They have almost all the skulls. Uppercut me.
There you go. Seth went on to say, he said, secondly, I only gained access to the alpha right before Christmas and bought a 30-day Stim pack when they launched the Christmas XP bonus. The Stim pack appealed to me not as a means for getting gold, but as you yourself admitted, to getting higher levels at a decent speed. I have young kids and my playtime is limited, so I wanted to maximize my 8 XP gain to keep up. However, when the beta XP boost launched, I ran into a problem. I hit an XP cap of 2.25 million XP per day in practice or co-op modes with a Stim pack 100%, friend XP 50%, and the holiday bonus 100%. I reached this cap in less than 10 co-op matches. While I enjoy Quick Match, I'm not yet level 30, and so Hero League is not yet available to me. I know you all mostly Quick Match or Hero League, but did either of you run into anything like this? I was a bit frustrated that they gave us a boost and then capped XP gain to so few games. Anyway, thanks for the great show and stay classy. No, because I never play anything besides against real people.
Yeah, I think co-op's a great place to be learning. If you were able to get there straight from co-op to 30 into Heroes League, I would be concerned about many of your reaction skills, because computers just don't react the same way, and they don't become, afraid of you or react emotionally to situations, and they'll continue to barrel in, and you'll get these wacky ideas of what you can do with some of your abilities. But as for the limit on it, it's mostly a bot thing. They took away co-op questing and XP for a while, and then gave it back because it wasn't very friendly of them. So now it's back. People can get gold from it. It's just got limited.
Right. And to hammer home the fact, please don't be leveling up through co-op and then just jump into ranked, because it's going to be a rude awakening.
Yeah, we honestly have no idea how the MMR system works right now. We have HOTS logs that gives you an idea of where you are, and for all the games I've played, I feel like I'm in a good league on that particular system. But so if you enter that with no MMR, I'm not sure what happens to you. Probably nothing good.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that would be so. But yeah, no, I never did hit an XP cap. If I do play co-op, it's usually like a game or two, and it's because I just got a new hero and I just want to figure out how their stuff works and untalent gate them.
But he's right to say that, the stim packs are best used for XP. And in fact, some of the chat was surprised earlier that you talked friendly about them earlier.
I talked about them with less complete and utter disdain in my voice 2 weeks ago so that I could get into ranked mode quicker.
There you go. See, XP. So not so much a gold thing.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. And honestly, I've been considering getting another one so that I can get some master skins a lot faster. But to each their own.
Sure. Well, and you also enjoy, Hearthstone, getting those extra cards, having multiple decks. I mean, I don't spend a cent in that game, but I have a Warlock deck. Everything else is disenchanted.
Yes, but I'm also used to card games in general. So having any free-to-play aspect to Hearthstone seems like a massive bonus.
Fair enough.
Because to play Magic free, I would have to commit theft.
Yep. Well, professionally anyway.
Yeah, or just go to the comic store and steal from a child, which would just be mean.
Or you could bring your change jar and go through those boxes for hours. That's pretty fun.
That is a good point. That's a very good point. So,
I mean, about as thrilling as doing your taxes, but I have a good time doing it. I wish my taxes were that fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast. So anyway, thank you for your email, Seth. Again, if you want to send in emails, you can do so to itncast@gmail.com. That'll do it for this week's episode. As always, I want to thank those of you who are supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. That's where you can go and subscribe to the show. If you're enjoying it, subscribe for $1 a month, $2 a month, however much you want. We really appreciate the help. And we have some new patrons this week to thank. We want to thank Sean W., Luke J., and Jeremiah B. Thank you all very much for supporting Into the Nexus. It's quite awesome. Getting very close to that 500 goal, and then we'll do weekly after-show games.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
That being said, I think I'm going to do some after-show games tonight.
Perfect. I'm down on it.
So chat room, stick around. We're going to put together some teams. Also, if you're leaving us reviews on iTunes, thank you very much. And this week we have quite a few to thank. Plenty of new reviews, and it helps the show out a lot on the iTunes rating. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Rufus Funkerdale. Great name. Thank you to Blue Impulse, Diranux, Ryan Markham, and Zoomerell. Thank you all very much for your iTunes review. We really appreciate it. Nice. Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and our Patreon producer, Declan H. You can see more about this and all of the other amove shows at amove.tv. Catch us live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv or on alphageekradio.com. And you can follow us on Twitter at ITNcast and check out Brian Griffith, the musician who made our intro music, over at briangriffithmusic.com. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. You can find me at kyleferguson.com, 2 S's in Ferguson, for my Dungeons & Dragons weekly articles. This past week was improv games incorporated into traps like curses, so making people only speak in the form of questions because they are cursed by a horrible witch.
Oh, well.
Have you ever played the question game?
No.
Well, you just failed it.
I'm assuming I was supposed to answer in another question.
That could be one way, but have you ever thought about trying a different approach?
I'm terrible at this.
That's the point. They're cursed, man.
Oh, my brain. It hurts.
That's not the hardest one I put up either.
Delightful. Well, go check that out. KyleFerguson.com. You can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt or over at nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio. If you're looking for a graphic designer, I can be contracted through there. Got a little contact forms. Let me know what you need made pretty. And you can also check out The Angry Chicken, a podcast about Hearthstone, where I talk about Hearthstone. And this week I will be championing the death of The Undertaker. Burn in a fire-like grave.
Oh, yeah. He got nerfed, didn't he?
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's just attack now, right?
Yeah, it's just attack. I actually beat a hunter today. It was beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
It was great. It was still really close. Face hunters are still absurd and stupid and don't have to make any decisions. But, yeah. Undertaker. Had the
Hey,
legs.
I don't have Zombie Chow. What should I replace it with?
You don't have Zombie Chow.
No.
You should replace it with get your ass over to Naxxramas and finish it. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I would if I could win an arena match these days.
Oh my god! Just like it's like what 10? You have like $10 worth of stuff to, but just pay the $10. Just get the other 2 wings. What's wrong with you?
We'll see.
The cards are so good. Damn free to play players.
Cheap asses ruining the game, asking me these dumbass strategy questions. There is no replacement.
If someone was like, "Hey man, you could have like a tournament quality Magic deck if you just spent $10," I'd be like, "Here's $10. Let's do this." What's wrong with you?
Fair enough.
Anyways,
Man, we're getting our next expansion pack for that in April if rumors are to be believed.
I don't trust that damn thing I read in that post today. I saw the post you're talking about.
Gotcha.
It's great if that's the case, but
Yeah. Well, it would be a, single player whatever.
so it wouldn't be an expansion. Number one reason that thing was full of crap is it doesn't have its terminology correct.
Right.
It sounds like they were referencing an adventure, not an expansion. But
If you don't know what we're talking about, go on Reddit, look up the scandal. It's dumb.
it's probably unless it's true, then it's not dumb. So we'll have to. Time will tell, I guess. I never put a lot of stock in leaked stuff. So
Well, you watched the, leaked, very, very rough cinematic for Heart of the Swarm, didn't you? Did that turn out to be real?
no, I did not.
Oh, you avoided it. Okay.
Yeah, I watched it after the fact, and it turned out to be real.
Okay.
There were some things that were a little different about it, but it was definitely the final. It was the animatic for the final cinematic in Heart of the Swarm.
I'm glad I didn't watch that.
Yeah, it would have spoiled a shit ton of stuff for you. Anyways, that'll do it for this show. If you want to check out some of the sponsors that support us, check out doghouse-systems.com. Use the code ITN, and you will get double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig. And that same code works over at tweakedaudio.com. If you are if you're like me and listen to a lot of podcasts, their earbuds are amazing. So go over there, use the code ITN, and you're going to get 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds from tweakedaudio.com. Thank them for their support. We thank you all for listening. We will see you next week after we're done battling through the Nexus on ITN number 37. Good luck and have fun.
Take care.